What's up, everyone? It is Nate, and this is another Out of the Theater review. Now, this week, I'm actually doing one a week early. So, got to see John Wick early. Now, today, Wednesday, I went to go see Dungeons and Dragons Honor Among Thieves, a movie that I was absolutely not looking forward to. I thought the trailer was bad. I remember seeing the trailer and thinking, this movie's going to bomb. It looks horrible. And I don't think it's going to be very good. Looking at it a little further, directed by Jonathan Goldstein and John Francis Daley, who directed Game Night, which is a movie I really enjoyed. So then I said, okay, you know what? Maybe it won't be that bad. And then these early reviews started coming out. All the buzz, I think it played at South by Southwest. It's doing all, and the reviews are great, like 86% as I'm recording this on Rotten Tomatoes. And I'm like, no way. There's no way it's this good. Like, I don't believe it. So now that I finally got to see it for myself, which is all I care about, a million people could say it's great and I may not like it. So I went to see it. I got to say, I had a blasty blast. This movie was a lot of fun. Super entertaining, very funny. I will say we don't get a lot of fantasy films in general. Like they just don't make them that much. I feel like maybe once every 2 years you get this kind of like high fantasy, movie. So one, it's a genre that it's refreshing to see them make one of these kind of big budget fantasy films. One thing I think that the filmmakers did was they had a great sense of fun about the whole thing. It's never overly serious. Towards the end, when you have the big fight with the villain, there's some parts that are, a little serious and, because the stakes and the threat is a little more real. But for the most part, this movie is hilarious. It's really funny. I laughed a lot. I had some really good laughs in this. There's like some of the names of the characters cracked me up. Even Michelle Rodriguez gets some moments where, she's so like, she's like the serious warrior. So they play off of that with some of her dialogue, and it's really good. You have some really good visual gags in this. I won't, this is spoiler free always, so I won't tell you, but there's some really good visual gags in this that I thought were hilarious. And, overall, just a good, fun adventure film. You have a good cast. Chris Pine, he's really good in the lead. Michelle Rodriguez, as I mentioned before. Hugh Grant, he's in this, and he's just been killing it. Every time I see him in something, I love him in it. So I was glad to see him. He's a villain, but he is the perfect, like, he plays it pitch perfect. His tone, his mannerisms, very smarmy, and, oh man, super good. So, the action scenes are really solid. Michelle Rodriguez gets a couple of good fight scenes. The Bridgerton guy, I don't know how to pronounce his name, but that guy that's in Bridgerton, he gets he has some really great scenes. He comes in about halfway through, great dialogue, funny, but then he gets some fight scenes, really good. I will say there are two scenes in this movie that are standout, like legitimately fun and well shot and cool. The first one involves a breakout from a castle. So it is presented as like a one take. Obviously it's not, because there's hidden cuts and whatever, but the way they did it, a lot of energy, super, super well shot, a lot of fun. Love that scene. And then the second one is involving a dragon. And that's all I'll say, because this is one of those scenes that's like, it's better if you don't really know about it. But when you see a dragon like come out for the first time, just be prepared, because that sequence alone, I almost say it's worth going to see just for that part, because I was cracking up. And while cracking up, I was also like just super into what was happening, because it's well shot, a lot of fun. So I'm really surprised that I like this movie. As far as on the negative side, I think it's a little long. It clocks in over 2 hours, maybe 2 hours and 10 minutes or so. They could have shaved 20 minutes maybe. It moves at a good pace. The pacing is not bad, but there's a few parts where it's like, this little scene could have been snipped or whatever. But that's a minor complaint, to be honest with you, because this movie, I never thought I would say it, but believe the hype. In my opinion, it's a really good time, a great fantasy film, and a lot of practical effects. Like, this movie has a ton of CGI, don't get me wrong. It has a ton of CGI, but there is a lot of practical effects. It reminded me and my buddy went to see it. We were both like, this feels like an 80s movie. Like, it really feels like an 80s fantasy film, except with a lot of modern technology. Like, there is CGI, obviously, a lot. It still has that 80s vibe, and it's really funny, and it's really entertaining. Like, if you just want to have a good time at the movie theater, I highly recommend it. I'm actually going to give this an 8.5 out of 10. You know, the runtime minus is a half a point, and the other half is just because it's not like the most perfect 10 out of 10 film, but it's really, really, really good. So if you like fantasy films, even if you don't, if you just like comedies, I would say go see it. It's a great time. You could take the kids. Nothing in it too, it's nothing too graphic or language or anything like that. So anyway, if you enjoyed this review, please go ahead, drop me a like below. I would really appreciate it. Comment below. Are you looking forward to this movie? Or if you already saw it, what did you think of it? Did you hate it? Am I crazy? Just let me know. And of course, subscribe to the channel. If you don't already, we're going to be doing weekly reviews. So make sure you're subscribed and you have the notification turned on. Next week, I will be reviewing, I don't know yet, because I already reviewed John Wick and I already reviewed this. So there will be an Out of the Theater review next week. Stay tuned to find out what it is. Take it easy.